privilege to see you here this afternoon. Some of you probably coming to these webinars after you finish the last class of the day or before you return home, which I'm so impressed about. Others of you probably on the way home and joining this webinar through the phone. So this is really amazing to see you from all the places, so many familiar names from many places, many schools around Thailand. Oh, and some teachers from Myanmar as well. Yeah, it's a pleasure to see you here too. Yeah. Can we move on to another slide, please? All right. Okay, before we start, and again, Macmillan education has been advancing learning for over 175 years. Macmillan was the original publisher of Alice Adventures in Wonderland, written by Lewis Carroll. We publish a range of work by others, extraordinary authors as well, like Thomas Hardy and Rudyard Kipling. And we are proud to be continuing the commitment to learning and innovation until today, working with teachers like you and inspiring learners to achieve more. Well, let's take a look at our team here as well. Macmillan actually is a truly global organization, having many talents working together. In Asia, we have offices in China, Hong Kong, South Korea, Vietnam, and Thailand. And here's our team in Thailand, and all familiar faces, right? Kun Mot Narumon, our regional sales administrators for Southeast Asia, Kun Pon Pandrit, and Kun Yut Thanayut, our talented educational consultant in English language teaching. We are all here to support you with whatever you need for your teaching. So please feel free to contact us if you need any English language teaching materials or any support for your classroom. Now let's talk about today's session. Today's session is titled Sharing is Caring, Advancing Online Teaching in Any Scenario. You will get many ideas for activities for online, face-to-face, or hybrid classroom teaching to support your students in developing the language and skills that they need to succeed for in the new interconnected digital age. So whatever your scenario is, we'll be looking at how we can maximize our students' learning experience and show them that sharing is caring both in our lives and in the classroom. This session will be very interactive. So please use the chat box and share your ideas. And at the end of the session, there will be special quizzes and the winners will receive special prizes from us. So please stay tuned until the end. There will be lots of prizes to give away today. But I see some of teachers from Myanmar as well. So because of the logistic reasons, so only teachers from Thailand will get the prizes for this from this webinar. Okay, and plus after these webinars, an e-certificate will be sent directly to your mailbox. All right, our speaker is here. Let me introduce him. He is Derek Spafford, or Dell. We call him Dell here. And some met him before, but some probably meet him the first time. Let me give you some information about him. And I'm going to tease you, Dell. I got a number here, which is preceding the word years in ELT. Of course, number of years, right? So Dale has been in the ELT community for over 20 years as a teacher and teacher trainer. And now he's a regional teacher trainer and academic consultant for Macmillan Education. He's based in Bangkok, Thailand with us. He's got a master in TESOL, and his areas of expertise are integrating research-based methodology and ideas into language teaching and support teachers to use effective learning strategies in the classroom. Well, I think that's quite enough for my voice, Dale. Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm going to hand it over to you. So have a great time, everyone.
Thank you, Arissa. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everybody. Can you all hear and see me okay? Just need 1 or 2 yeses. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. Yes, so thank you, Arissa, for the very warm welcome. And thank you so much for organizing today's session. Also, a big thank you to Maud and to you and to Pon, who have also put the work in to make sure that today's session has run smoothly. And also Daisy. Daisy is our marketing executive, if you like, or helper. More than helps me all the time and has helped me with today's session to make sure that it goes ahead. So thank you for that. And you guys, thank you so much for your time. I know what it's like to finish a day of teaching and then have some training to do. So hopefully this session will be kind of light. It will be easy to follow, and you'll get some useful, practical ideas to use in your classes as well. So first of all, as Marissa mentioned, these are very fluid times. The teachers particularly have fundamentally changed the way that they do their jobs and the way that they have come to terms with connecting with students, with the different ways of working, and ultimately thinking about different new ways of helping your learners become better. Now, your context might be teaching online. It might be teaching face-to-face, and it might be both of those. So what we call a hybrid approach. So before we get started, can I do a quick check to find out where we are and who and what we're dealing with? So I'm going to open up a poll. And I'd like you to give me your answers in today's poll about your teaching context. So you should see a poll there. Can you click on the best description of your teaching situation? So I'm just looking in the chat. It's very difficult for me to follow the chat because there's quite a few of you. So I'll try and look at the chat whenever possible. And I can see that, yeah, this platform, we will just be using the chat box. Because there's a lot of people here, we can't all turn on our microphones and turn on our cameras. It would just be too difficult to manage. So this is more like a webinar. At the end, we will have a Q&A. There will be a chance for you to ask some questions. And as Marissa said, there's going to be a quiz at the end. So make sure you pay attention to what I'm saying, and you can win prizes. There are 3 prizes for the final quiz. All right, we've got quite a few coming in. We've got about over half of the people have voted. When I get to about 100, we've got 93 at the moment. When I get to about 100, I will stop it and we can see the results where we are. Okay, and looking in the chat, there's a couple of hybrids. Fully online for a year picture. Yeah, that's been me fully online for more than a year now. I'm kind of still getting used to it, really. Really looking forward to seeing you guys face to face. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this year. All right, we've got 100 people, so I'll close the voting now, and I will share with you the results. So our results, I'm just looking at my other screen because it's easier for me to see. We've got 45% of us are teaching online, only 8% face-to-face. But that's still positive that there is 8%. I'm very lucky that my daughter is one of those schools that have gone back. She's actually learning face-to-face. I'm very happy to see that this is starting to happen now. 37% online and face-to-face, and 25% using a hybrid approach. So quite a variety there, with a number of, with most of us, if the majority of us are teaching online. So today's session is all about every scenario, really. So whatever I show you today, I'd really like you to think about your situation and see how you can apply it to your situation, and see if you can either use the activities online or face-to-face. In fact, they're all the activities I'll show you are available for any scenario. So just keep that in the back of your head. Not exclusive to one. So I get to meet a lot of teachers in my job. I get to talk to them. I get to do training with them, and I get to ask them questions. And one thing that we always do is we ask for feedback. Very important to us here at Macmillan that we get your feedback so that we can make things better for you when we come to do our training with you. We can hopefully really meet your needs. Now, these are the results of some feedback that I asked for teachers, which is what were their challenges last year when teaching. Now, most teachers last year were teaching fully online, so we can think about this from an online perspective. Now, what do you think was the number one challenge that teachers had? All right, so the data's there, but no categories. So I'm going to give you the first 6. Here are the first 6 in no order. Which do you think was number one? Which had 379? Oh, I need to share my slides again. Thank you so much. I need to stop sharing results and share. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Olivia, I'm going to keep an eye out for you because you seem to be really on point and helping me out. I need that, so please help me. So yeah, here are the challenges, and here are the categories of those challenges, but they're not in order. So John, you think engagement was the number one factor? What do you think was the number one factor? And I didn't ask teachers to choose from these categories. They gave me I put these into different orders. So for example, internet and tech issues, we would have had no Wi-Fi would have gone into that category. Not knowing how to use the platform would have gone into that category as well. So lots of people saying engagement and interaction being high up there. Yeah, well, you're correct. And if I show you the answers or the results now, you can see that the first area was engagement. It was the biggest challenge that teachers had, was getting students engaged, making lessons interesting, making lessons fun so that students would participate in the lesson. Internet and tech issues were a big issue, but there's really not much that we can do with that. If you don't have Wi-Fi, I can't go into the school and put Wi-Fi into the school, for example. So that's kind of a little bit of a bigger challenge for the school, or even for the country to deal with how to get Wi-Fi, how to get internet connections, particularly into rural areas. The third one was teaching skills. So yeah, moving those face-to-face skills to teaching online. And I think with that, for me, when I think about my training and my teaching and being online and face-to-face, I'm not really too concerned about that. I think a lot of the skills are very transferable, whether you're teaching online or face-to-face. It's just maybe needing to change a couple of little things and getting better with things like breakout rooms. Then we had interaction, then classroom management, and finally attendance was a problem. And so these are the challenges. I'm sure you've experienced the same challenges. So with these challenges in mind, today's session is going to look at some activities that will be engaging, and also will hopefully address some teaching skills online as well. So we're going to look at 3 different areas today. And again, this comes from the feedback that I've received, particularly with the teaching skills. So we're going to look at presenting vocabulary. We're going to look at teaching grammar and a framework for teaching grammar. And then finally, hopefully we'll have time, we're going to look at an activity to check the understanding of students when they have read or listened to a text. All right, because often when we're doing reading and listening online, that our engagement can drop somewhat, and students can just sort of put their heads down, look at their books, We don't know if they've read what they've read. Okay, they might do the comprehension questions, but let's think of something a bit more engaging for checking their understanding, or that they've actually engaged with a text. Now, I can see lots of people putting things into the chat. This is really great. That's what I want you to do. If you have conversations in the chat with each other, fantastic. Keep doing that. The things I'm going to show you today, if you have got something to add to that, if you want to say that wouldn't work with my class because of this, or what I would do with that is change it to do this, then please give your ideas. Sharing is caring. Share your ideas, share your thoughts in the chat. Let everybody know what your thoughts and how you would do it with your students as well. Today we're focusing, as you know, on primary learners, but if you're teaching secondary, or even if you're teaching adults, also think about maybe how you could adapt it to fit the age of your learners as well. So let's start with vocabulary. Now, I'm going to show you an activity to start with, which is called a slow reveal activity. Now, I'm using this a slow reveal activity because it's something that I have used hundreds and hundreds of times, and it's always worked. It's always super engaging, and it's very exciting, particularly for primary learners. Now, I'll say to you, I've used it hundreds and hundreds of times, and I'm going to show you now my little envelope, which I created probably over 10 years ago now, when I was teaching at a school in Bangkok. I was teaching at St. Gabriel's College in Bangkok. I created this beautiful little envelope that you can see here. And I keep my flashcards inside here. And I slowly reveal my flashcards. What can you see? What can you see? A boat or a ship? Yes. So I slowly reveal my flashcards, and I could do this teaching face-to-face or online, of course. Yeah. And I would encourage you to make one of these because they're super, super useful. Make one yourself. But what you might not have if you're teaching online is access to these lovely flashcards that I have here that I've created by myself. And these, again, are as old as my envelope type thingy, my slow reveal envelope type thing. But as I said, you might not have a printer at home. If you do have a printer at home, it can be expensive to print out all those flashcards, particularly if you want them in color. Or if you're creating your own flashcards, it can take a lot of time. So we don't want to be really doing that all the time. If we can do it digitally, it's much faster and much easier. So I'm going to show you how you can really easily use PowerPoint to see these flashcards and to do this activity. What I need to do is I need to go into my PowerPoint, but not in presentation mode. So now I'm in presentation mode. I'm going to go out of presentation mode. I'm going to close my notes. And you can see now my screen is there. But what I can do is I can manipulate my PowerPoint now. So here we can go. I can do my slow reveal now quite easily. Now, what can you see in the picture? I'm slowly revealing. What can you see? I'm going to give a point if you can tell me what you can see. Shops, store. What kind of store? Supermarket, Eugene. You've got it correct. Okay, so very simply, I can use my PowerPoint very easily to use this slow reveal activity. What's really cool about PowerPoint as well is I can slowly reveal like this. Or if I click on the square itself and drag it, you get a flash, a quick flash. What can you see in the quick flash? Anybody know? The street, a bus terminal is the correct answer. Yeah. Now, you might say bus terminal, Malcolm, Eugene, Wadawan, you've said bus station, and that's what I would call it too. You can also drag diagonally. What can you see now? A cinema. This is all American English. So what do we call it? A movie theater chant tip. Very good. So you can do, or you can even spin and flash. Spin and flash. So the PowerPoint's really flexible with this. So I'd encourage you to use that, to use this slow reveal. And again, if you're thinking about engagement with learners, having some excitement with younger learners, what can you see? Is very, very exciting. You can move it, you can put it back, you can encourage learners to shout out if they've got their microphones on. You can encourage them to write in the chat like you're doing. And if you have stronger students, what I encourage you to do is to create these really nice pencils with students' names on. Now, I've used these in training sessions before, and what they're good for is if you have a student that is dominating, that's shouting out the answer all the time, you can stop them by asking Gun to shout out the answer. You move it across the screen, and you know that at least Gun has now paid attention and has participated in the lesson. I put Gun on that side, and the next time it's Giab's turn. Okay, and Giab, what can you see? Giab, what can you see? And Giab can see a library. Chantip, you've got 30 students, right? So what you want to do is maybe select 6 for this activity. And then, as I said, you move them across, and the next 6 you pick up and they do the next activity. So 45 students, again, it's a challenge. Think about how you can adapt it with your larger classes. So I'll go back to my presentation mode. And the topic, as you will have guessed, is in town. So all my flashcards that I used there, you can see now, are in town. All right. So what I've done with this, I've taken these flashcards from the Macmillan Teachers App. All right. So I'm sure you're going to be asking me where you get these flashcards from. And I'll show you now where we get these flashcards from. Macmillan has a wonderful Teachers App that goes with this book called Share It. Let me show you that now. So here is an example of the book that we would be using, and the vocabulary is all here that you can see in some form of context in the town. And if I click up here, you will see the flashcards. And I can make these bigger. Now, this is a really cool, if you've got technology in your, if you're using technology effectively with your students, you can pull this up easily and be very versatile with your presentation of your vocabulary. So here we can see we've got a supermarket, as you know. If we're not comfortable about the pronunciation of supermarket, we can get someone to help us. We move through.
Bus station. Movie theater.
Movie theater. Now, I've covered this up now. Now, I might ask my students, what does a movie theater look like? What might you see at the movie theater? And then I can show them the picture and see if they get a similar idea. Same with department store. I might ask them to then say the words and show them a picture. So we've got these flashcards available, and they're fantastic because they're digital. It means I can just cut and paste them and move them. If I'm fairly traditional in my teaching and I want to use PowerPoint, I can cut and paste them and use them effectively in my PowerPoint, or I can go super high tech and use them with my teacher presentation kit that you can see here. Now, the next activity for presenting vocabulary is called What's Missing. This works really well with PowerPoint, actually. And as you can see, I've got all my flashcards here. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to drill my vocabulary. So when I drill my vocabulary, I'm going to drill and engage my learners. I'm not just going to go supermarket and the students will repeat back to me or repeat to themselves. We hope that they will do it themselves. We can turn the cameras on and have a bit of chaos and turn the microphones off and have some chaos, or we can get them to do it by themselves at home. If we drill like this, supermarket, bus station, movie theater, department store, we're probably not going to get much engagement at home if the microphones are off. So what we want to do is when we're drilling, and if you're drilling face-to-face as well, is get energized with your drilling. Make it interesting, make it fun, make it active. So with supermarket, you might go supermarket, and then you say it as you would say it normally, and then make it longer. Supermarket. Make it shorter. Supermarket. Make it louder. Supermarket. Make it quieter. Supermarket. Whatever you want to do, but make it interesting, make it fun for your learners. And then hopefully this will engage your learners. And then where they'll be at home doing the same thing, because it's not some boring supermarket. It's something fun for them to shout out or quieten down or spin around while they say it. Any way you want to do it. At the end, obviously, use the correct pronunciation at the end. So you don't want them to go away saying supermarket when they say supermarket, but you want to drill it precisely at the end, but make sure you have some fun with them when you're drilling. So we drill our vocabulary, we go through them all, and then we mix them up. All right, we mix them all up and we ask them what's missing. So you guys, what's missing? What's missing? Which word is missing? 2 points for the person who can tell me what's missing from our list of words. Bus station is there. Supermarket. Who put supermarket? Olivia is the correct answer. Fantastic. So we can go through them again and we can say the supermarket is missing. The supermarket is there. Let's try again. 1 point. Who can tell me what's missing? What's missing? The cafe, Miss Natia, is correctamundo. Well done, Miss Natia. You were the first one to get it right, I think. Yes, good. And then the last one, obviously, you would do this more and more and more. You can mix it up. You can have lots and lots of pictures. You can make the pictures really small so the students have to really look at the screen. You can have 3 or 4. You can have 3 or 4 pictures if you're with very young learners. With older students, more vocab. What is missing? The bus station. Olivia, you are on fire today. Congratulations, Olivia. It is the bus station. So you can do this very simply with PowerPoint. Very easy to do. Also, if you've got a group of flashcards that you're showing like this, again, very easy. You just show it. You take one out, you put it down, and you drill your vocabulary, and then ask them what's missing. Go through it. They say the words. What's missing? You didn't know, but it was the horse. It's a very simple idea, but again, it keeps students engaged and listening to what the teacher's saying, and keeps them focused on the vocabulary and the presentation. The last thing we're going to look at with vocabulary in terms of presenting it is an activity called Magic Eyes. And I learned this from a teacher in a school that I visited. Very nice activity. So again, we start with drilling the vocabulary. We've checked the pronunciation. We've drilled it. We know what the difference between the places are. They know what this vocab is. And now we might use our activity called Magic Eyes. So we drill it now. Supermarket, bus station, movie theater, department store, library, candy store, cafe. Now we take one away and we drill again. Supermarket, bus station, movie theater, department store, candy store, library, candy store, and cafe. We drill again, and so on and so forth. Supermarket, bus station, movie theater, department store, library, candy store, cafe. Supermarket, bus station, movie theater, department store, library, candy store, cafe. And we go again, and so on and so forth till we get to the end, and the students can now do it all by themselves. Supermarket, bus station, movie theater, department store, library, candy store, cafe. Way, well done, everybody. You got it right. What an amazing group of students you are. You are able to say all the words without seeing the words. It gives them a real sense of progress and a sense of achievement. And it's kind of fun at the same time. They can do this together as well. If you share the PowerPoint with them, they can practice themselves at home or with their families as well. So it's a really nice little activity. And I love the idea that you give them that sense of achievement. This works amazingly with the app. If I go back to the app again, you can see if I go back to my flashcards, the flashcards is all set up perfectly. If I go to grid, you can see all of them and I can hide them all. And now we can do the same thing. And I can simply hide them, drill them. I can even use my
supermarket, bus station, movie theater, department, library.
And then shout out from the students. What is it? Anybody? 1 point? Candy store, May.
Candy store
is correct.
Cafe.
And cafe. And then we can do that same thing again. And it's really nice. And the app works perfectly with this kind of activity. Okay, back to our PowerPoint. Now, with vocabulary, it's very, very important that we have students remember the vocabulary, of course. So we don't want to overburden them with too many words, depending on their level. It will depend on the number of words, but between, say, 5 and 8, I think is fine. I'm looking at level 3 here today, just because it's in the middle of the primary activities, of the primary levels. But what we want to do with vocabulary is we want to try and personalize it. When we've finished presenting the vocabulary and the students know what the words are, how can we get them to use it in a context? How can we get them to engage with it even more? So we can get them to write down the vocabulary, but let's write them down in rankings. Let's make some lists. So we could rank the vocabulary by whether we like them or dislike them. This is great for things like food and sports and that kind of thing, but we could use it for places in the town. Here's my rankings of likes, the places that I like from those places that we saw. So you can see behind me all my books. So my first is, I love reading. So the first place would be a library. I love drinking coffee. Second is a cafe. And I can go down and I can tell my friends and I can tell a teacher why I've put the list like this together. If I'm a strong student, I can really turn on my mic and tell everybody. If I'm a weak student, I can just make the list myself and keep it to myself. I could put them into breakout rooms to share their lists with each other. You could also rank by which place is the busiest. You could rank by which place is the furthest away from home. So get them to create some lists that are personal to them. Another great activity that I use often and is acrostic poems. Now, these are very simple poems where you have the word, so the word supermarket, and you add words that start with a letter of the word supermarket. So, for example, what can you buy in a supermarket that begins with the letter S? What can you buy? Sausages, soap, strawberries, yes. Sugar. And as you can see, as we go through, you can see some of the things you can buy. So it's a very simple activity for students to do. And they can create that nice list and then link the concept of a supermarket to what it actually is as well. So there's a lot of meaning and understanding which is created by this. If somebody says something different to what you have on here, so a random word, then you might realize that they don't understand what supermarket is. You can be creative with acrostics as well. So a library, you can for those older learners, the more advanced learners, you can have them make these poems. Look at the books. I love reading. Do you? Books make you clever. And they can create these beautiful poems. So this is a bit more challenging. To make it easier, you can do something like this. Now, this looks more difficult, but it's actually easier because all they need to do is use the letters, but they can put it into the middle of words. So they've got much more choice of the words that they can use. I love coffee and eating cake with friends. Come and join me. So very simple. So these acrostics are really great for generating interest and putting vocabulary into some context. Now, if you like acrostics, we have an opportunity here for you to win a prize. I would like you to make your own acrostic using the word share it. All right. So there's my acrostic. You can go to, whoopsie daisy, you can go to this Google Forms here, which I will put into the chat box right now. That's not going to work. Don't worry about that. I'm going to put it into the chat box for you. 1 second. It's on my PowerPoint here. If you click on this, you can open a Google form and you can give me your own acrostic. So you can do this after today's session. Please take part and we will select the best acrostic, and the best acrostic will receive a phone call from Mr. Pon or Mr. Yut, and we will arrange for a prize to be sent to you to thank you for your wonderful acrostics. So have a go at that. It will also, by doing the activity, will give you an opportunity to practice writing your own acrostics too, and see if you can use them with your learners. So have a go and win a prize. Let's have a look now at some grammar activities. So with the grammar activities, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share you. It doesn't, John. John. Do we know each other, John? I think we do, right? A long time ago. Yes. How are you, John? John is a wonderful cricketer. If anybody knows, cricket's not that famous in Thailand, but John is a fantastic cricket player, and me and John used to play in the same cricket team for a season. Hi, John. How nice to meet you. Can you click on the link? Can you access the link? Whereas I can. John, you can't. All right, John, it must be you, mate. I'll have a chat with you later and see if you can, if I can pull it up on the last slide again, and maybe you can copy that down. But I'm very conscious of time, so I'll just keep going. So we're going to look at a framework for grammar. Now, I've used this framework many times when I've been teaching grammar to my students in Thailand, and it looks a bit like this. So the first thing we've got is what we call noticing. Then we give our students some input, raise awareness of grammar, we check that they understand it, and then play a game, help with their memory and to make it memorable. And then we experiment. All right, so let's have a look at our grammar framework. So the first thing we're going to do is noticing. Now, noticing is when we provide an opportunity for our students to notice the grammar that we're going to be looking at, but we're not really teaching the grammar just yet. We'll explicitly teach the grammar later on. What we're doing is just trying to get them to notice it, to see if they can recognize the grammar that they're going to be studying without asking too many questions. We want to put some little seeds into their heads and see if those seeds will flower. So we do that by looking at this. It says, talk about the picture. How many people do you see? What are they doing? So this is vocabulary. You might say, oh, no, but this is vocabulary, not grammar. Well, it is. But there's grammar with everything, right? So how many people do you see? What are they doing? So the grammar, let's think about the grammar that we're going to be teaching on the next lesson. The next lesson is grammar. And Malcolm, you said, or Maiken, you said present continuous. Yes, very nice. It probably is present continuous, isn't it? It is present continuous, but it's a special kind of present continuous. So now we move on to the actual grammar lesson. And with the grammar lesson, we add some input. Now, input is giving students some text through a listening activity or a reading activity that introduces the grammar to the learners. Now, we prime them with the vocabulary lesson, and we can now be a bit more explicit, but not really too explicit of the structure. We're just giving them a context. So if you have a look at this, there's a conversation between Kevin and Julie, and they're asking Julie, look at Clara's bike, she has a new basket. Wow, that's cool, where's she going? And now we're introducing the structures, we're introducing the context, and we're teaching the grammar inductively. Again, we're giving the grammar to them, but we're not explicitly focusing on the grammar just yet. Share It has 2 grammar inputs for every lesson. Oh, sorry, every unit, has 2 grammar inputs. So here you can see the second input. The first input, what grammar point are we teaching, do you think? You might be able to see it in the actual in the explicit grammar there. We're looking at going to. Okay, so we're looking at going to. And now we have an activity where we can have students in the second grammar point look at the context. And what we're going to do is something of a dictation. So I've got some gaps missing here, closed dictation. So what I might do is, or I might call this a beep dictation. Now you can see the text, but my learners cannot see the text. They can see the picture, but not the text. And I might say to them, look, it's Kevin and Clara. They have a beep basket. And the students have to write down what word they think is missing. Now you could do this by showing them the text for our weaker students, or you could do it as a listening activity. Are they beep to the market? And they have to write down the word that's missing. So they would write down, are they go? Are they been? You might be able to find out some grammar that you might need to teach here. If they write, are they go to the market? Okay, that's good. That's correct. But it's not the right form of the word. How can you change it? Are they go? Are they go? And then you can build on that. Yeah. So you're getting them to tell you what the grammar is by blanking out those words. And like I said, first of all, they don't see the text. They just listen. Then they can see the text. And then you can simply show it to them. And they can check their answers. A nice way to introduce some of the grammar to your learners. The next thing we have is awareness. So here you can see it's explicit now. The grammar is highlighted in nice colors and students can be aware. Now to make this engaging, because what you're going to do, just show this to the learners. We have these really cool videos. And let me just show you an example of the videos there. So again, we have Kevin talking to, I've forgotten her name now, Kevin talking to a friend, and they're talking about this girl here and her basket on her bike. They're going to go through that conversation. Let me just quickly show you an example of the video through the presentation kit. So there's the conversation that they're having. We go to the grammar, we hit the interactive tool, and we can play the video. Now, the videos are really engaging for learners because you can stop and pause them. What's Professor Smart doing? Well, he's having a coffee. Where is he? He's in the cafe, and this kind of thing. Build up. And now Professor Smart's going to help us with our grammar. Let's have a look.
Julie, look at Clara's bike. She has a new basket. Wow, that's cool.
So they hear the language. You can ask questions to check their understanding.
Where's she going?
And you can see
She's going to the candy store.
And you can see how they deal with the contractions, how they make it explicit to the students.
Today is her birthday. Yes, I know. I can't wait.
So you can see by introducing the grammar through these really cool little videos, these little animations, it's going to make it a little bit more engaging for our learners. And that is raising what we call awareness of the grammar. We then move on to the fourth area of our grammar framework, and this is the checkup. And this is where we check whether our students have understood the grammar that's been presented to them. So we're going here to the workbook. So the workbook, you can see, is digital as well. So for any scenario, if you're teaching online, you can go back to your online presentation kit. You can click on the quick links, which is here, and it will take you to the digital workbook. And you can do the activities with the students while they do it. If they have the physical books at home, and you can simply click on the interactive activities to check their work. So and you can go, Pop, it's your turn now. Pop, what's the answer for number 2? Where's he going? He's going to the supermarket. And you can go through the workbook online, digitally, with your students. So whether you have the book or whether you don't have the book, you can still, if the students have got the digital workbook, they can still do the activities. And you as a teacher, you're not looking around for a workbook, for the teacher's book, for the student's book. Everything is there in one place for you to be able to access these digital materials and teach online effectively. We also have really cool grammar worksheets, which are in the teacher's resource pack. Again, really important to check the understanding, and you can do these for homework. The activities that you can do in the class as well, you can see using the teacher's presentation kit and show these to the students, so you can all do this together in one place. Games are really important when we teach grammar, because they help to, again, like personalize, they help to engage the learners, and they help learners with memory. So if you make something memorable, it's better than getting them to memorize something, right? So I can say to my students, I've given you 8 words today, go away and memorize them, all right? They might do that, great. But if we can make it also memorable and do something fun, then they're more likely to remember. So we've got this really cool share book. Now the share book has these extra activities. And what's awesome about the share book is the materials are all there for the students, ready to go in their student book. So the student book at the back of the book contains the share book with all the resources they need. You as a teacher don't need to photocopy, you don't need to do anything. Everything is there in one place. So at the bottom of the page, you will see the activity. Student A, you go to page 29 and 31. Student B, you go to page 29 and 31. It shows them what to do, and then it gives them the materials. There are 2 grammar activities, so you can see the 2 sharebook activities, and very easy and useful for you as a teacher, because you don't need to prepare anything. It's all done for you. They can also use this wonderful student app, which is called Navio. I'm going to quickly show you this. This is gamified learning or gamified learning. And Navio is a place where students can go. It's an immersive world where they can go and do activities. So here we go. If I go back to my map, they walk around this wonderful interactive world. And if they want to move around the world, they come across these pods. They jump on the pod. Let me turn up the sound. They jump on the pod and they have to do an activity. So for example, we were looking at the grammar. They can do this at home and the teacher can check that they've done it. They have to look, then choose. So similar to the video that they saw.
Unit 5. In Town. Lesson 2.
And they can select. I'm going to make mistakes just to show you.
She's going to the candy store. Today is her birthday. Yes, I know.
And they can check. They can try again. And once they've completed an activity, once they've completed all the activities, they can move on to the next activity. Now, if they don't complete the activity, they have to redo it until they get it correct, and then they move on. That's where the gamified learning the gamified learning approach is really effective, because it creates that engagement where students want to do these activities and move around this really nice immersive world. I'll jump on the next pod. And here they can do another activity. They can read it, they can listen to it, they can listen and read.
Julie is looking for Clara.
Kevin, where is she? There's a surprise party.
So they can do all of this at home. They get this app which they install on their computers, and they can go through this immersive world, learning English as they go, and having a great time in this immersive world. Now, experimentation, learning while playing Rex, is exactly right. Experimentation is something that you might come up with just to do something different with the language that you've been presenting. So I've created this little game. So what am I going to do? Now, for 3 points, I'm going to show you something, and you have to tell me what I'm going to do. All right. So I've got a helmet. So what do you think I'm going to do if I've got a helmet? I'm going to bike, Jason. Bicycle. You're going, Olivia. You've given me a full sentence. Yeah. So 3 points if you said I'm going to ride a bike. Good. All right. Now, well, let's see if you can go any further. I've got some tight shorts on for 2 points. And I got a water ball. Yeah, you're going to ride a bicycle. Okay, so very simple. You can do this. You can make these up. So the next one, got some popcorn, a ticket, some Coca-Cola. Gonna watch a movie. And the last one, got some salt. More difficult, this one, huh? Okay. I've got some flour. Got some eggs. I'm going to make some pancakes. I love pancakes. So, a very simple activity. Now, what you can do now is get your students to turn off their cameras, turn off their microphones, and go and find 2 things in their house. All right? And they come back with the 2 things in their house. That will show them what they're going to do next. So you might come back with a remote control. So the student might come back and hold the remote control. When they come back, they switch on their camera, they switch on their microphones, and they go, I've got a remote control. What am I going to do? And the other students say, you're going to watch TV. You're going to watch a movie. You're going to watch no DVDs, no other, but you're going to watch a movie or a film, or you're going to watch TV. Yeah. The next thing they might come back with is a tea bag. I'm English, so you're going to make a cup of tea. Yeah, James, I hope they don't bring a hammer. You have to be careful, right? You might find out who's the crazy ones in your class. And again, don't forget to use your gun. Show me what do you have? What are you going to do? Top. Show me what you're going to do, Top. Show me your thing that you have brought. I'm trying to look around at something else that I've got, but no, I won't bother. But therefore they bring something from their lives into the classroom, the online classroom, and show each other. So that grammar framework is a really nice Yorkshire T, Mark. Of course, there's only one T, isn't there? Although it's very difficult to, well, it's not difficult to find it now, but it's a bit expensive. It's a bit out of my price range now. I need to save up. I've got some Tetley, that was a gift. And I've got some Thai food as well. So I'll get through that and maybe treat myself some Yorkshire tea. So we'll look at some one activity now. I think we're doing, might go a little bit over time, but I'll talk you through this activity and then we'll do the quiz. So this is all about checking understanding of when you do a reading and listening. So when you do a reading and listening, it's very difficult, isn't it, to understand or to see whether your students are actually participating. You might ask them to read something, check the comprehension, but we want to do something fun with it so we can get them to really check that they have paid attention and that they have read the text or listened to the text. So here I've chosen a lesson at the end of the unit it's called the CLIL lesson. CLIL is Content Language Integrated Learning. You can see at the top there, and it's basically a lesson that presents a reading text, but it also teaches a different subject that they have in school. So it might be history, science, maths, art, physical education, one of these. But then we use that subject to teach something, to teach English through that subject. So here we have the text, and I'm going to get you to quickly read the first part of the text. So many people go to museums to see art. You could read it to the learners. You could switch off you could blank it out and have it as a listening activity. But I'll let you read this quickly. You've got 15 seconds. Eugene, you've already had my training on this. All right, so you might know. Mark, I'll have a look on Lazada for the Yorkshire tea then. It'd probably be cheaper on there, right? You might know this activity already then, but I'll quickly tell it to you. So once they've seen the text, or you've given them time to read the text, you then ask them to put their hands on their heads, close their books, put their hands on their heads so they can't open their books, and then you blank out the text like you can see here. Okay, I remember that very nicely, yeah. And what you are now going to do is you're going to read the text to them, and you're going to make mistakes. So many people go to museums to see pictures. All right. Any mistakes in that line? Very nice, Anna. Straight in there. Yes, it's art, isn't it? So very simple activity, of course. You can see art outside in towns and villages too. Cities, Olivia, is the correct answer, and so on and so forth. So you go through the text and you read it to the learners, and they will come up and tell you the correct answer. You can have pictures as prompts if you want to, but I guarantee you, once you've done this 1 or 2 times, you can make it into a team game. You can make it as fun as you like to. If you do this face-to-face, you can get them to shout out the answers as much as they want to, or you can get them to write it in the text into the chat box as well. It's entirely up to you how you do it, but it's always nice to correct the teacher. Students love to correct the teachers, and they love to see you make mistakes. You could be with the younger learners, you can go, oh no, I'm so silly, I made a mistake. Thank you, Giab, for correcting me. Good girl, well done. Okay, let me read the next line. And then you read the next line and make a mistake. Oh no, I made a mistake again. I am so silly. Thank you, Pop, for making me correct. And so on and so forth. And get them to correct you. They love to do it. The last thing I'm going to do with you is to check that you have been paying attention. So, have you been paying attention? What I'd like you to do now is complete our word wall activity. Someone mentioned word wall earlier. So let me just again copy, 1 second. I'm going to copy that link into the chat. And I'm going to give you just a few minutes to go to the word wall activity and complete the quiz. We will, in a moment, have a look and see who will win. The top 3 will win prizes that our lovely Pon and Yut will be spending to you. Do not forget to fill in your school name and your name as well, please. Otherwise, we won't know how to contact you. So please write your name and your school name. And I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to do this. All right. So you've got 3 minutes. Click on the link, scan the QR code, and go for it. I hope that link works. Let's see. Yeah, there's me. Okay. If you want to, can you see it now? Yeah, you can see it now, right? If you want to let us know in the chat how many you got correct, you can, but I will be sharing with you the winners in a moment. Looks like Rex is finished. Jay's done. All right. Are you confident, Jay? Oh, St. Gabriel's College. There you go. My old school. I'm going to be strict with the time. When it gets to 18:05, we'll have a look and see if we've got many winners. Just going to go back here a moment while I drag that out and go back to the QR code. Okay. "24 people have finished already. 5 people have got 8 out of 8 correct. Let's see. Okay, we're 18:04. This is getting exciting. 47 have finished now. Still 8 out of 8. 8 people have got it exact. Average score is 6.3. Very, very good. In fact, I'll share my screen with you. No, I won't just share. Remember, to win a prize, you have to be based in Thailand. Just because we can't send them anywhere else, we just got to send them in, basically send them in Thailand. Okay, it's 18:05. 72 students have completed. 70. You can see my screen now. 72 students have got. Shall I refresh again? Refresh one more time. 80. Okay, that will do. Finish now. That's time up. 80 students have got. Don't worry about that fastest there. That doesn't mean anything. 80 students, average of 6.2. Let's look down now. I will sort by the correct and time and show you the leaderboard. The first 3 are the winners. And there we have it. So, Kin Momo Un, you are the winner. Very nice. Kachakon is also a winner. And Kelvin, excellent work. You are the winner. Now, do remember, I need your school names. So please, 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 Kin Momo Un, Kachakon, and Kelvin, put your school name into the chat box now, please. Or we have to go all the way down to Jason Marcus and Supaluk, because they've put their school names in, which was in the instructions. Kelvin St. Gabriel's. Nice. Okay, Kelvin, you got a prize. So I need those school names in the chat, and we'll check the chat later to find out. Or Pon and Yud, can you keep looking in those chats to find out who on that list will write their school names, and we can have a winner. All right, good. Well, congratulations to those people who did win, and all of those people who got 8 out of 8 correct. 7 is good. I thought the questions were quite tricky, particularly at the start. And let me go back to the PowerPoint now. So the last thing I'd like you to do is say thank you for your time. If anybody's got any questions and wants to stick around, I know I've gone a little bit over time, and I'm very, very sorry about that. But if you want to stick around and ask any questions, please do. We have a survey here that we would love for you to do. It's really important to us that we get your feedback. As I said before, without your feedback, we can't make sessions like this meaningful to you if we don't listen to your feedback, and we do listen to your feedback, as you saw at the start. So make sure you give us your feedback. It's really, really important. You can also please follow us on Facebook. You can follow us. You can also subscribe to the Macmillan Education Asia Teachers Club. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll get notifications of everything that's happening. We've got a really exciting February month coming up. We've got the Global Teachers Festival with 2 weeks of webinars that are going to be really great for you and will help you with your teaching. So make sure you follow us on Facebook so you don't miss out on anything. But please, please, please complete the survey for us as well. And one more time in the chat box. And one more time in the chat box, I'll try and pull up that acrostic as well, because there's still an opportunity for you to win a prize with the acrostic. Let me just put up the Google form again. Give me a second. I can shorten the URL, copy that, pop that in the chat for the acrostic. And all that's left for me to say is thank you and good night. I hope you have, if you're on the way home, whatever, a safe journey. If you're at home already, have a lovely evening. If you have to go and teach again, have a great lesson. It's so nice to be with you, and I hope to do this again soon. Please keep in touch. You know where we are. Reach out to Pon and Yud and Marissa and the team and Maud and myself. If you want any more information, then please just get in touch. And we're here to help you and support you. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I hope you can too, in terms of this whole situation and getting back to some normality. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And see you again soon.